Tell me about the railways. You said you used the Lambourne-Newbury Railway.
Yes.
And then the service to Hungerford was much better in those days.
I think it was, yes. Oh, yes, it was, because everyone went by train. The number of, my father used to go up every day by train, and he had all his buddies. He went up on as a matter of course.
And how long did that take to go to London?
I shouldn't think much longer than that. I mean, they're a good train. The Great Western was very well run railway.
God's wonderful railway.
Yes.
GWR.
Yes.
And of course they had to have a good service for the school children to get into the grammar schools in Newbury.
In Newbury, yes.
They went every day.
I don't think I don't know much about schools.
No, right. We'll leave schools for somebody else.
Yes.
Have you got main drainage up here?
No.
But do you remember when they got it in Hungerford or not?
No, I don't. No.
Do you have a refuse? You have a refuse collection?
We have a refuse collection. But that's quite recent, of course. I mean, everyone's rubbish heap is burnt, and, you know.
Street lighting, when did that come to happen?
That I don't think I know either, I'm afraid. Always lived right.
You've lived
up
right
here,
yes.
No, I couldn't remember that, not the date, no.
Have you got any observations on the common?
I remember playing golf on the common. There was a little golf course there.
Time, yes.
Until the cows ate balls.
And there were people to look after the common. Did you remember Floppy New, who was a Hayward up there?
No, I know the New family, but he's one of them or not, I don't know.
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, Marjorie Horde was a New, wasn't she, in Canal Walk?
Is Marjorie Horde in relation to Frida Horde?
No, shouldn't think so. No.
Frida Horde's an old inhabitant.
Oh, she is. She's died with me, yes. Let's have a giggle when we get together. We know that.
Now, you must remember something about the fairs and carnivals and things they had.
Oh, yes. Yes.
There were quite a lot of them.
Yes. Yes, I was... they didn't start... It was quite, I wouldn't say quite recently, but it wasn't all that time ago when they started.
Didn't they have dancing around the maypole with the children in the early days?
They could have, I don't remember that, no.
You didn't dance around the maypole?
I didn't dance around the maypole, no. No. I suppose I was the wrong age, you see. I mean, I was probably sort of rather too old.
Too old, yes.
Too old, yes. Even in those days.
Churches and chapels. There were two churches, weren't there?
Yes, there was Eddington and St Lawrence's, and of course our church down here, which is where we always used to go, and we still have an afternoon service down there. And we weren't allowed to play tennis until we'd been to church and like that in the afternoon.
But you were allowed to play tennis also?
Oh yeah.
And were there three different vicars, or
No, I think a vicar and a curate.
were all three churches?
So I think that's all.
Do you remember any of them?
Yes, well the first one, I was trying to remember his name the other day. He was very much in the fire service, and they picked him up from somewhere else. He was a great friend of my father's. Very sporting, he used to fishing, he went mad on fishing and that sort of thing. So a very nice man. And then he had one, perhaps two curates.
But all the burials were at St Saviour's, weren't they?
No, yes, up the hill, that's right, yes. Yes, they were. Yes.
Now, you ran the guides. Do you remember when the company started?
No. My sister Anne and I were both under, as I said, Mr. Pratt, lived at the Priory. And then the captain next to him was the policeman as well. So,
I think it's about the third oldest company in Berkshire.
is it? Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
And Didn't the vicar's wife, Mrs. Gray?
That's right, that's the nice vicar we had. Tom Gray, that's right.
That's the sportsman.
Yes.
And the Nichols came on.
And then the Nichols came under me, that's right. And then I think when the war came and I went, I think then they took it over.
Yeah.
Second war.
Yeah. And what other village organisations were there?
Well, my mother used to have her mother's meetings from this village, and they used to meet, come up to the cottage and do the knitting.
Yes, it's voluntary meetings. Yes.
Play cards in the winter, I think, and garden, out in the garden in the summer. But I never joined the Women's Institute, I'm afraid. As I say, the wars rather came in the way. And,
The tennis clubs though.
no, tennis club's quite modern, isn't it?
I don't seem to remember my mother playing tennis or she played lacrosse.
Yes, I used to play lacrosse. We had a mixed hockey match every Christmas Day in this field club. It's great fun.
That's just too mixed hockey.
Well, I must tell you, thinking of that field, you see that stone out there?
Yes.
Well, I remember when that was in this field, and the field was, in those days was ploughed by 2 steam engines, one each side. One steam engine would pull the plough over, and then the other one would move on and pull the plough back. They were double-ended ploughs, they tipped up. And that stone got in the way, so they moved it to the roadside. And then when they widened the road, when we were having this house built, and so I said, well look, before we build the house, do move the stone up here. Apparently it's a sarsen stone.
Yes. Yes.
And I have a theory. You see, there's another one very like it on the common by the Denford Bridge. You ever noticed it there? I'm sure you have.
You just look at it then.
By the railway bridge at Denford. And there's one in the farm here. And I have a sort of theory that they point towards Stonehenge.
Well, could be. Yes.
But, because they are big stones.
That must be perhaps on carrying
And if you think of it, this one in Denford and the other one are all in the line, really.
That's very interesting. And might, well, they wouldn't be in line with Avebury, would they?
No, Avebury is there.
It's a bit out, yes. Yes, but I'm sure they all had a meaning.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Sarsen, well, they're stranger stones, aren't they? That's what Sarsen. Saracen stones, yes. So I believe.